What if I told you that the very thing helping you succeed is also destroying you? What if the biggest obstacle between you and your dreams isn't external competition, market conditions, or lack of opportunities, but something much closer to home, something that whispers in your ear every single day, telling you that you deserve more, that you're special, that rules don't apply to you? Today I'm going to share with you Ryan Holiday's life-changing book, Ego is the Enemy. This isn't just a book review. This is a reality check that will completely transform how you see success, failure, and everything in between. If you think you deserve success, if you believe you're smarter than others, if you feel the world doesn't understand your potential, then this video will shake you to your core. I promise you this. If you stay with me for the next 30 minutes, you'll walk away as a completely different person. You'll understand why most people fail, not because they lack talent, but because their ego destroys them from within. Are you ready for this transformation? Let's begin. Welcome, everyone. Today we're diving deep into Ryan Holiday's masterpiece, Ego is the Enemy. Before we begin, let me tell you why this book is extraordinary. Ryan Holiday is one of the most prominent teachers of modern Stoicism, bringing ancient wisdom from philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca into our contemporary world. But here's the fascinating part. Holiday wrote this book when he was intoxicated by his own success. At just 25, he was a marketing director in Hollywood, working with celebrities, making money, gaining fame. He had everything our society tells us we should want. But then he realized his ego was destroying him from the inside. Holiday divides life into 3 critical phases, and in each phase, ego attacks us differently. First is aspire, when you're trying to become something. Second is success, when you've achieved what you wanted. Third is failure, when everything falls apart. In each phase, ego whispers different lies, creates different traps, and demands different sacrifices. Most people think ego only affects unsuccessful people, but that's completely wrong. Ego is most dangerous when you're successful because that's when you stop listening, stop learning, and start believing your own hype. Today, we'll explore how to recognize ego in all its forms and develop the wisdom to overcome it. Part 1. Aspire, the enemy of learning. Point 1. Talk. Let me tell you about someone I'll call Michael. Michael dreams of becoming a successful entrepreneur. Every day he posts motivational quotes on Instagram, shares business ideas on LinkedIn, tells his friends he's going to be the next Elon Musk. He has elaborate plans, impressive presentations, and endless enthusiasm for talking about his future empire. But what is Michael actually doing? Nothing. He's all talk, no action. Holiday shares ancient Chinese wisdom. Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know. In our social media age, we've all become like Michael. We're so busy broadcasting our intentions that we forget to actually work on them. There's fascinating psychological research showing that when you tell people about your goals, your brain releases the same satisfaction chemicals as actually achieving those goals. The result? You become complacent. You mistake talking for doing. Consider Mark Zuckerberg. He didn't announce Facebook to the world before building it. He quietly coded, tested, and refined. When the product was ready, he launched. No fanfare, no advanced publicity, just results. Here's your first challenge. For the next 30 days, don't tell anyone about your goals. Just work on them silently. Watch how much more productive you become when you stop performing and start producing. Point 2. To be or to do. Holiday poses a powerful question that will change how you see ambition. Do you want to be someone or do something? This distinction is crucial because most people get it backwards. When you want to be someone, you're focused on titles, recognition, status symbols, and how others perceive you. You want to be called CEO, but you don't want to actually run a company effectively. You want to be famous, but you don't want to create anything valuable. You want the appearance of success without the substance. When you want to do something, you're focused on impact, results, and actual achievement. You care about solving problems, creating value, and making a difference. The recognition becomes a byproduct, not the goal. Napoleon Bonaparte perfectly exemplifies the be someone mentality. He wanted power, titles, and recognition above all else. He became emperor, conquered much of Europe, but ultimately failed because his ego-driven decisions led to overreach and destruction. With George Washington, who exemplified the do-something mentality. After winning the Revolutionary War, he could have become king. Instead, he voluntarily stepped down, establishing the precedent of peaceful transfer of power that strengthened American democracy. Ask yourself honestly, are you working for the promotion or for better results? Are you creating content for followers or to provide genuine value? Your answer reveals whether ego or purpose is driving you. Point 3. Become a student. The most dangerous phrase in any language is, "I already know that." Ego's favorite weapon is overconfidence. The moment you think you've mastered something, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you start dying. Let me share a story about Jeff Bezos. In the 1990s, when Amazon only sold books, Bezos personally answered customer service calls. Even after becoming a billionaire, he continued attending conferences, taking notes, asking questions. He maintained what Zen Buddhism calls beginner's mind, the attitude of openness and eagerness to learn. Compare this to the typical mindset many people develop after just a few years of experience. They start interrupting others, dismissing new ideas, and believing they have all the answers. They stop reading, stop learning, and start stagnating. Socrates, considered the wisest person in ancient Greece, said, "I know that I know nothing." That's real wisdom. Understanding that the more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know. Here are the warning signs that ego has made you stop learning. You interrupt people frequently. You dismiss ideas from younger or less experienced people. You haven't changed your mind about anything important recently. You surround yourself with people who always agree with you. The antidote is cultivating what I call aggressive curiosity. Actively seek out information that challenges your assumptions. Read books outside your field. Learn from people you initially want to dismiss. Ask more questions than you answer. When was the last time you said, "I don't know," in a professional setting? If it's been too long, your ego is taking control. Point 4. Don't be passionate. This might be the most controversial section because every motivational speaker tells you to follow your passion. But Holiday argues that passion is actually dangerous, and you should be purposeful instead. Here's the difference. Passion is an emotion. It's temporary, volatile, and unreliable. When results don't come quickly, passion fades. When obstacles appear, passionate people often quit because the feeling is gone. Purpose is deeper. It's values-driven and mission-oriented. It survives setbacks because it's not dependent on feeling good all the time. Think about a passionate cricket player who says, "I love cricket, so I want to play for the national team." But when selections don't go their way, when injuries happen, when politics interfere, that passion can quickly turn to disappointment and abandonment. Now consider a purposeful cricket player who says, "I want to pursue excellence through cricket, inspire young athletes, and contribute to the sport's development." This deeper purpose sustains them through setbacks because it's about more than personal satisfaction. Passion creates problems. It makes you emotional rather than rational. It creates unrealistic expectations. It often leads to shortcuts and unethical behavior because you're driven by feeling rather than principle. It burns out quickly when reality doesn't match expectations. Purpose provides benefits. It keeps you grounded in reality. It helps with long-term planning and patience. It builds resilience because your motivation doesn't depend on external circumstances. It creates sustainable drive that lasts through difficult periods. Ask yourself, what's driving your current goals? Passion or purpose? If it's just passion, what happens when that feeling fades? Point 5. Follow the canvas strategy. This chapter introduces one of Holiday's most powerful concepts, the canvas strategy. Instead of trying to be the artist demanding attention, become the canvas that helps others create their masterpieces. Benjamin Franklin used this strategy brilliantly as a young man. Instead of trying to immediately become a powerful figure, he made himself valuable to powerful people. He helped them succeed, supported their projects, and asked for nothing in return. Eventually, he became one of America's founding fathers. In the modern era, Sheryl Sandberg exemplifies this approach. She started as Larry Page's chief of staff at Google, focusing on making his initiatives successful rather than promoting herself. This eventually led to her becoming CEO of Facebook. Strategy means making others look good, taking responsibility for failures while sharing credit for successes, solving problems quietly without announcing your contributions, connecting valuable people to each other, and consistently adding more value than your job description requires. Your ego will resist this strategy. It will whisper, "Why should I make others successful? I deserve recognition for my work. I should be promoted first." But this resistance reveals exactly why the strategy is necessary. Here's the truth most people miss. Making others successful is the fastest way to become successful yourself. When you help others win, they remember. They recommend you. They bring you opportunities. They become invested in your success. Think of it this way. A candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. In fact, now there's more light in the room. The canvas strategy creates a network of people who owe their success partly to you. That network becomes your greatest asset. Try this experiment. For the next week, consciously look for ways to make one person look good without expecting anything in return. Watch what happens to your relationships and opportunities. Part 2. Success, the enemy of excellence. Point 6. Introduction to success. Phase: congratulations. You've made it. Your business is growing, your salary has increased, people recognize your name, and respect comes naturally. Now what happens? This is actually the most dangerous phase of your entire journey. Why? Because ego changes its strategy completely. In the aspire phase, it whispered, "You're not good enough." Now it whispers, "You're too good." In the aspire phase, it made you desperate for validation. Now it makes you feel entitled to it. Success is intoxicating, and intoxicated people make terrible decisions. Look around at successful people who've destroyed themselves. Business leaders taking unnecessary risks. Celebrities making ridiculous statements, politicians becoming overconfident, athletes becoming complacent. The ego attacks in the success phase include, "You deserve all this recognition. You're smarter than everyone else. Rules don't apply to you anymore, and you can't possibly fail now." Each of these thoughts is a trap that leads to destruction. The challenge of success is maintaining the same humility, curiosity, and work ethic that got you there in the first place. Most people can't do it. They start believing their own press releases, stop listening to feedback, and begin making decisions based on ego rather than wisdom. Point 7. Always stay a student. The biggest trap of success is thinking you've learned everything you need to know. There's a dangerous correlation. The more successful people become, the less they want to learn. The more experience they gain, the less curious they become. Nokia provides a perfect case study. In the 2000s, they dominated the mobile phone industry with a 40% market share. But when smartphones emerged, Nokia executives dismissed them as just a trend and insisted people want simple phones. Their success had made them arrogant and blind to change. Within a few years, iPhone and Android had captured the market, and Nokia nearly disappeared. Compare this to Warren Buffett, who at 94 years old still reads 5 to 6 hours daily. Or Bill Gates, who still takes annual Think Weeks dedicated entirely to learning new concepts. These individuals understand that success should make you more curious, not more certain. Here are warning signs that you've stopped learning. You interrupt others frequently during conversations. You dismiss ideas from younger or less experienced people without consideration. You haven't changed your opinion about anything significant recently. You surround yourself exclusively with people who agree with you. You feel frustrated when others don't immediately accept your expertise. The antidote is what Zen Buddhism calls Shoshin, or beginner's mind. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert mind, there are few. This doesn't mean abandoning your expertise, but rather maintaining openness to new information and perspectives. Practical ways to maintain beginner's mind. Read extensively outside your field to challenge your assumptions. Actively seek feedback from people at all levels, including those junior to you. Travel to different cultures to break your mental models. Take formal classes in subjects you know nothing about. Question your own success. How much was skill versus luck? When was the last time you said, "I don't know," in a professional setting? If it's been too long, your ego has taken control of your learning. Point 8. Don't tell yourself a story. After achieving success, ego's favorite activity becomes story creation. You develop a narrative about why you succeeded. I'm naturally talented. I work harder than others. I saw opportunities they missed. Then you start believing this story so completely that it disconnects you from reality. The problem with success stories is that they oversimplify complex reality. Real success involves luck, timing, help from others, favorable market conditions, and yes, your efforts and decisions. But ego focuses only on the factors that make you look good while ignoring everything else. Consider Steve Jobs. The popular narrative presents him as a visionary genius who revolutionized multiple industries through pure brilliance. There's truth to this, but the complete story includes team contributions, market timing, lucky breaks, and significant failures that taught valuable lessons. Look at Jobs' early career honestly. The Apple Lisa computer was a complete failure. Next computers weren't commercially successful. Multiple products failed before iPod succeeded. But the simplified story ignores these failures and the learning they provided. The dangerous stories we tell ourselves include, "I'm a natural talent," which ignores years of practice and help from others. "I saw this coming," which ignores uncertainty and course corrections. "I'm different from other people," which creates a dangerous superiority complex. "Success validates everything I did," which ignores mistakes and areas for improvement. Here's a reality check exercise. Take your biggest success and honestly answer these questions. What role did luck and timing play? Who helped you that you haven't properly credited? What market conditions favored you? What mistakes did you make that you're now ignoring? What would have happened with different timing or circumstances? Instead of crafting narratives, focus on facts, specific actions that worked, specific lessons from failures, specific contributions from others, specific market factors that helped, and specific areas where you still need to improve. When someone praises your success, resist the urge to agree completely. Instead, try, "I had great support and favorable circumstances. There's still a lot I need to improve." This isn't false modesty. It's accurate assessment that keeps you grounded in reality. Point 9. What's important to you? Success creates what psychologists call the hedonic treadmill. No matter what level you achieve, your brain quickly adapts and demands the next level. The satisfaction from success is always temporary, leading to an endless cycle of needing more. Watch this progression in action. The college student thinks, if I just get a job, I'll be set. Once employed, if I just get promoted, I'll be satisfied. After promotion, if I just start my own business, I'll be fulfilled. After business success, if I just go public, I'll have made it. The cycle never ends because the goalposts keep moving. This creates what Holiday calls the success trap. You start optimizing for external metrics, revenue growth, social media followers, media coverage, awards and recognition, comparison with peers, while internal satisfaction actually decreases. Holiday suggests shifting focus from metrics to values. Instead of asking, "How much did I achieve?" ask, "Am I becoming the person I want to be?" Instead of, "How much recognition did I get?" ask, "Am I contributing something meaningful?" Instead of, "How do I compare to others?" ask, "Are my relationships getting stronger?" Tony Hsieh, founder of Zappos, experienced this firsthand. After selling his company for $1.2 billion, he felt empty and depressed. The money hadn't brought the satisfaction he expected. He realized his real values were building community, helping others, and creating meaningful experiences. He redirected his efforts toward these values and found greater fulfillment. Here's a powerful exercise. Define enough for different areas of your life. What's enough money for a comfortable life? Enough recognition for satisfaction? Enough growth for fulfillment? Enough impact for meaning? Having these definitions helps you resist the endless treadmill of always needing more. Marcus Aurelius, who had unlimited power as Roman emperor, wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." This wisdom from someone who had everything reveals that satisfaction comes from internal alignment, not external achievement. Take time to identify your core values, not what you think you should value, but what you actually value deep down. Then audit your current activities and decisions. How many truly align with these values? This alignment, not achievement, creates lasting satisfaction. Point 10. Entitlement, control, and paranoia. Success brings 3 dangerous psychological shifts that Holiday identifies as the enemies of sustained excellence: entitlement, control illusions, and paranoia. Entitlement means believing you deserve special treatment because of your success. You stop saying please and thank you. You expect others to accommodate your schedule and preferences. You become impatient with normal processes that apply to everyone else. You start treating service people poorly because you feel superior. Constantly with celebrities demanding special treatment at airports, business leaders expecting rules to be bent for them, or successful people becoming rude to staff because they feel their status exempts them from basic courtesy. The reality check is simple. Nobody owes you anything. Success is a privilege, not a right. The moment you start feeling entitled to special treatment, you've let ego take control. Control illusion is believing your success means you can control future outcomes. The 2008 financial crisis destroyed many successful business leaders who thought they could control market cycles. They had confused temporary success with permanent invincibility. This illusion manifests as believing market conditions will always favor you, customers will always choose you, team members will never leave, competition won't emerge, and technology won't disrupt your industry. But the only constant is change, and the only thing you truly control is your response to circumstances. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on what we can control while accepting what we cannot. You can control your effort, attitude, decisions, and responses. You cannot control market conditions, other people's choices, timing, or external events. Paranoia develops when every criticism feels like a conspiracy and every competition seems like a personal attack. Success can make you hypersensitive to negative feedback because you're not used to hearing it anymore. You start surrounding yourself with yes people and interpreting honest feedback as disloyalty. The truth is that most people are focused on their own lives, not plotting against you. Criticism often contains valuable insights if you can hear it objectively. Competition keeps you sharp and drives innovation. Media coverage is temporary and largely irrelevant to your actual work. The antidotes to these three dangers are daily gratitude practice to counter entitlement, regular acknowledgement of what you cannot control to counter control illusions, and actively seeking honest feedback to counter paranoia. Success should make you more grateful and humble, not more demanding and suspicious. Point 11. Managing yourself. The final challenge of the success phase is self-management. When you were aspiring, external forces kept you disciplined. Bosses, financial pressure, competition, supervision. Success removes many of these external constraints, giving you more freedom in your schedule, more financial cushion, more decision-making power, and less direct oversight. Here's the paradox. Maximum freedom requires maximum discipline. When nobody is watching, when you don't have to prove yourself anymore, when you could coast on past achievements, that's when character is truly tested. Time management becomes critical because everyone wants access to successful people. Media interviews, speaking engagements, board meetings, social events, networking opportunities. The requests never stop. Ego whispers, say yes to everything. You're in demand. But wisdom says protect your time. It's your most valuable asset. Decision fatigue affects successful people disproportionately because success brings more decisions. Research shows that decision quality decreases as decision quantity increases. The solution is creating systems and frameworks for routine decisions so you can save mental energy for what matters most. Lifestyle inflation threatens to trap you in a new version of living paycheck to paycheck, just at a higher income level. More money often means more expenses, more obligations, and ironically, less freedom. Successful people can become prisoners of their own lifestyle. Relationship management becomes complex because success changes dynamics with old friends who may feel distant, new people who may have ulterior motives, family members whose expectations may shift, and professional relationships that become more political. Marcus Aurelius managed ultimate success and power through daily practices that modern successful people can adopt. Morning reflection, asking what kind of person do I want to be today? Evening review, asking did I live according to my values? Regular retreat time away from demands for thinking and planning. Remembering that success is temporary through the practice of memento mori, service orientation, asking, how did I help others today? Warning signs that you're losing self-management include having your schedule completely controlled by others, making impulsive major decisions without proper consideration, losing touch with ground reality and day-to-day operations, compromising your values for opportunities, and feeling constantly busy but not productive. Success without self-management is temporary success. The discipline that got you there must be maintained to keep you there. Failure, the enemy of recovery. Point 12, introduction to failure. Phase. Now we enter life's most challenging phase, failure. If you think successful people don't fail, you're wrong. Successful people fail more often than unsuccessful people. They just handle failure differently. In the failure phase, ego takes its third and most vicious form. Previously, it said you're not good enough, then you're too good. Now it screams, you're finished. The ego attacks include you're a fraud who finally got exposed. You'll never recover from this setback. Everyone is laughing at your failure. You should quit and hide from the world, and this proves you were never really talented. But Holiday teaches us that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every great achievement includes multiple failures along the way. The question isn't whether you'll fail, but how you'll respond when you do. This phase tests everything you've learned about ego management because failure strips away external validation and forces you to confront who you really are underneath the achievements and recognition. Point 13, alive time versus dead time. When failure hits, you have two choices, dead time or alive time. This distinction will determine whether failure destroys you or strengthens you. Dead time is when you become a passive victim. You blame others for your situation, feel sorry for yourself, wait for external rescue, avoid taking responsibility, and live in either past glory or future fantasies. You're technically alive, but you're not really living or growing. Alive time is when you remain an active agent in your own life. You take responsibility for your part in the failure. Learn from your mistakes. Prepare for your comeback. Focus on what you can control and use time productively even in difficult circumstances. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison and could have chosen dead time. Bitterness, anger, hopelessness, waiting for someone else to solve the problem. Instead, he chose alive time. He studied law to better understand the system he was fighting. He learned Afrikaans, the language of his oppressors, to communicate more effectively. He developed his leadership philosophy through reading and reflection. He prepared mentally and intellectually for eventual freedom. The result? He became South Africa's president and won the Nobel Peace Prize. 27 years of imprisonment became 27 years of preparation. Consider Oprah Winfrey's early career failures. She was fired from her first television job for being too emotionally involved in her stories. She was told she was unfit for television news. Her early talk show struggled with low ratings and constant criticism. At each failure point, she chose alive time. She used criticism to improve her interviewing skills, developed her authentic style instead of copying others, and built genuine connections with audiences rather than just reading news. Each failure became education that prepared her for unprecedented success. The difference in mindset is crucial. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this experience?" Instead of "Who is responsible for this mess?" ask, "What is my responsibility going forward?" Instead of "When will this nightmare end?" ask, "How can I use this time productively?" Instead of "This situation is unfair," ask, "How can I adapt to this new reality?" Practical alive time activities include skill development during downtime, genuine relationship building when you have nothing to offer, reading and learning to expand your knowledge base, focusing on physical health through exercise and proper nutrition, addressing mental health through therapy or meditation, and strategic planning to prepare for the next opportunity. Here's a powerful exercise. Imagine you're sentenced to 5 years in prison starting tomorrow, but you'll be released with a clean record. What would you do during those 5 years to emerge stronger, smarter, and more prepared for success? Now apply that same thinking to your current failure or setback. Remember, every setback is a setup for a comeback, but only if you choose alive time over dead time. Point 14. The effort is enough. One of the most painful questions after failure is, was all my effort worth it? Ego says if you don't succeed, effort is meaningless. Holiday argues that effort itself has intrinsic value regardless of outcomes. Our culture obsesses over results. Business success equals revenue. Career success means position and title. Life success is measured by external achievements. But this approach is dangerous because results aren't always within our control. You can control the quality of your effort, consistency of your work, what you learn from experience, integrity in your approach, and how you treat others along the way. You cannot control market conditions, other people's decisions, timing and luck, economic cycles, or external recognition and an Olympic swimmer who trains 6 hours daily for 4 years, only to lose the gold medal by 1/100th of a second. From a results-only perspective, this represents failure. 4 years wasted for silver instead of gold. But from a process perspective, this person became someone capable of reaching an Olympic final. The effort transformed them regardless of the medal color. Vincent van Gogh sold only 1 painting during his lifetime. By external measures, he was a complete failure. But his effort, dedication, and artistic development had intrinsic value that we recognize today. His commitment to his craft mattered more than contemporary recognition. The intrinsic value of effort includes character development. Effort builds who you are as a person. Skill acquisition means you become more capable regardless of immediate results. Resilience building strengthens you mentally and emotionally. Example setting inspires others who observe your commitment. Self-respect develops because you can face yourself knowing you gave your best. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Modern research confirms that people who focus on effort and process rather than outcomes have better mental health, greater resilience, and ironically, achieve better long-term results. Instead of asking, "Did I succeed?" ask, "Did I give my best effort with what I had?" Instead of "What did I achieve?" ask, who did I become through this process? Instead of what recognition did I receive, ask, what did I learn about myself and my capabilities? Here's a powerful perspective shift. Imagine you're on your deathbed looking back at your life. What will matter more? The external recognition you received or the effort you put forth? The character you built through challenges or the awards on your wall? The person you became or the positions you held? Effort is never wasted. Results may vary based on factors beyond your control, but sincere effort always counts and always contributes to who you become. Point 15. Fight Club moments. Sometimes life delivers what Holiday calls Fight Club moments, referencing the movie where Tyler Durden says it's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything. These are moments when everything falls apart. Business completely fails. Career gets destroyed. Important relationship ends badly. Health crisis hits. Reputation gets ruined, or financial ruin occurs. Ego screams, you're finished. Game over. You'll never recover. But these moments, painful as they are, often represent opportunities for rebirth and renewal. Why are these moments valuable? First, they remove false identity. During success, you identify with your titles, possessions, and status. When failure strips these away, you discover who you really are underneath the external labels. Second, they clarify priorities. When everything is at stake, you quickly learn what actually matters: family, health, genuine relationships, personal values. Third, they create freedom from expectations. When you're at rock bottom, societal pressure disappears. You can choose any direction without worrying about maintaining an image. Fourth, they develop empathy. Success can create a privileged bubble. Failure helps you understand common human struggles. Steve Jobs in 1985 provides a perfect example. He was fired from Apple, the company he co-founded. This could have been career-ending devastation. Instead, Jobs used this Fight Club moment to start Next and acquire Pixar. Both experiences made him a better leader. When he returned to Apple in 1997, he created the iPhone and iPad era. The firing forced growth that success might have prevented. J.K. Rowling was a single mother on welfare, clinically depressed, when she wrote the first Harry Potter book in cafes while her daughter slept. 12 publishers rejected the manuscript. Her rock-bottom moment became the foundation for one of the most successful literary careers in history. Colonel Sanders was 62 years old when he started KFC, after failing in multiple businesses and living on Social Security. His famous recipe was rejected 1,009 times before finding acceptance. His lowest point became his greatest triumph. The rebuilding process has 3 phases. Phase 1 is acceptance. Stop fighting reality, stop blaming others, and acknowledge what actually happened. Phase 2 is assessment. What skills do you still have? What relationships survived? What did you learn? What do you want differently this time? Phase 3 is action. Start small. Focus on building rather than competing. Be patient with progress and maintain humility. The Phoenix principle applies here. The mythical phoenix bird burns completely to ashes before rising again. But the new phoenix isn't the same as the old one. It's renewed, refreshed, reborn with greater strength and wisdom. Your Fight Club moment can be your Phoenix moment, but only if you let the old identity burn completely and embrace the rebuilding process. Sometimes losing everything is the only way to find yourself and discover what you're truly capable of achieving. Point 16. Draw the line. The final lesson of the failure phase is knowing when to quit and when to persist. Ego creates 2 dangerous extremes: quitting too early when things get difficult, or never quitting because quitting is for losers. Both approaches are wrong. Wisdom lies in drawing the right line based on facts, not emotions. Persistence becomes stupid in several situations. The sunk cost fallacy makes you think, I've already invested so much, I can't quit now, leading to throwing good money after bad. Ego protection whispers, if I quit, people will think I'm weak, keeping you in obviously failing situations to avoid social judgment. Identity attachment says, this is who I am. I can't be anything else, preventing necessary pivots and adaptations. Before making any quit versus persist decision, use this analysis framework. Resource assessment asks, do I have enough resources, time, money, energy to see this through? What is the opportunity cost of continuing? Are there better uses of my limited resources? Market reality check questions include, has the fundamental situation changed permanently? Are my original assumptions about the market or opportunity still valid? Is this a temporary setback or a structural problem that won't resolve? Personal alignment evaluation asks, does this still align with my core values and long-term goals? Am I continuing for the right reasons or just ego reasons? What would I advise a close friend in this exact situation. Smart quitting examples include Amazon's Fire Phone. Jeff Bezos invested heavily in the project, but when it clearly failed, he quickly discontinued it instead of throwing more money at the problem. The lessons learned helped improve Echo and Alexa development. Google Plus represents another smart quit. Google spent billions trying to compete with Facebook, but when market response made success unlikely, they shut down the project and redirected resources to more promising initiatives. Netflix cannibalized their own successful DVD business when streaming became viable. They didn't cling to past success, but pivoted to stay relevant in changing markets. Stupid persistence examples include Kodak, which invented the digital camera in 1975, but refused to embrace it because it would hurt their film business. They went bankrupt in 2012, while competitors thrived with digital technology. BlackBerry insisted that physical keyboards were superior and refused to adapt to touchscreen smartphones. Their stubborn persistence in an obsolete approach destroyed their market position. Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy Netflix for $50 million in 2000, but refused, believing physical stores represented the future of entertainment. Their persistence in an outdated model led to bankruptcy. The framework for drawing lines includes red lines, when to definitely quit. These include situations requiring illegal or unethical activities, causing severe damage to physical or mental health, destroying important relationships, repeatedly compromising core values, or when resources are completely exhausted with no viable path forward. Green lines indicate when to persist. Temporary setbacks in fundamentally sound plans, temporarily unfavorable market conditions that will likely improve, challenges that can be overcome by developing necessary skills, available support systems, and continued learning and growth despite current failures. Yellow lines require deep analysis, moderate success but high opportunity costs, slower progress than expected but still moving forward, wavering team or family support, manageable but increasing financial stress, and depleting but renewable personal energy. Sometimes the answer isn't quit or persist, but pivot. Twitter started as Audio, a podcasting platform. When iTunes launched podcasting, instead of quitting or stubbornly persisting, they pivoted to microblogging. Twitter was born from this smart pivot. Slack began as a gaming company. When their game failed, they pivoted to focus on the internal communication tool they had developed. This pivot created a billion-dollar company. There's dignity in knowing when to walk away. It's not defeat. It's strategic retreat that preserves resources for better opportunities. Seneca wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." If you're currently struggling with a quit versus persist decision, try this exercise. Write down your honest assessment using the framework above. Imagine giving advice to your best friend in the same situation. Consider what you'll think about this decision 10 years from now. Ask trusted advisors who have no vested interest in your choice. The goal isn't to never fail. It's to fail intelligently and recover gracefully. Draw your line based on wisdom, not ego. Conclusion and integration. Point 17, the 3 phases, integration. Now let's integrate everything we've learned. These 3 phases, aspire, success, failure, cycle throughout life. You can simultaneously be in different phases across different areas. You might be in the success phase of your career, while in the aspire phase of relationships and the failure phase of health. The meta lesson is that ego is a shapeshifter. It takes different forms in each phase, but the core problem remains the same. Ego disconnects you from reality. In the aspire phase, ego says the future will be perfect. In the success phase, ego says the present is perfect. In the failure phase, ego says nothing will ever be perfect again. The antidote is present moment awareness and accurate self-assessment. This requires daily practices for ego management. Morning questions to ask yourself. What do I actually control today? How can I add value without expecting recognition? What can I learn from people around me? Where might I be wrong in my assumptions? Evening questions for reflection. Did I act from ego or wisdom today? What feedback did I ignore because of ego? How did I handle criticism and praise? What did I learn about myself? Weekly reviews should examine. What stories am I telling myself about my successes and failures? Where am I being entitled or demanding special treatment? What am I avoiding learning because I think I already know it? How are my relationships? Am I giving value or just taking it? Monthly reality checks involve getting honest feedback from trusted people, reviewing major decisions for ego influence, assessing whether actions align with stated values, and checking if you're actually growing or just getting busier. This is a lifelong journey. Ego management isn't a one-time fix, but a daily practice. Even the most self-aware people struggle with ego because it evolves and becomes more sophisticated over time. Key reminders for this journey. Ego never fully disappears. It just becomes more subtle and sophisticated. Success increases ego challenges. More success requires more vigilance and self-awareness. Failure reveals true character. How you handle setbacks ultimately defines who you are. Relationships are ego mirrors. How you treat others reflects your ego health. Learning never stops. Maintaining beginner's mind is a lifelong practice. The paradox is that people with the biggest ego problems think they don't have ego issues. Real wisdom starts with acknowledging I have ego tendencies, and I need to work on them daily. Point 18. Final takeaways. We've reached the end of our journey through Ego is the Enemy. But this isn't really an ending, it's a beginning. The beginning of a more conscious, intentional relationship with your own ego. The core message is simple but profound. Ego isn't evil. It's a natural human tendency. But unmanaged ego destroys everything. Relationships, success, happiness, and growth potential. Every moment presents a choice between ego-driven responses and wisdom-driven responses. An ego-driven life is reactive to external validation, defensive about mistakes, competitive in unhealthy ways, focused on appearing smart rather than being effective, built on transactional relationships, treats success as an addiction, and experiences failure as an identity crisis. A wisdom-driven life is responsive to internal values, curious about mistakes and feedback, collaborative for mutual benefit, focused on results and learning, built on meaningful relationships, treats success as responsibility, and experiences failure as education. Your immediate next steps for the next 7 days. Number 1, identify one area where ego is creating problems in your life. Number 2, ask for honest feedback from someone you trust about your blind spots. Number 3, practice saying I don't know and I was wrong when appropriate. Number 4, do something valuable without expecting recognition or credit. Number 5, learn something completely new that humbles you. Medium-term habits for the next 3 months. Number 1, establish a daily self-reflection practice. Number 2, read regularly outside your area of expertise. Number 3, seek mentorship or coaching to accelerate your growth. Number 4, build relationships without any agenda or expected return. Number 5, track learning goals, not just achievement goals. Long-term transformation over the next year. Number 1, develop a reputation for helping others succeed. Number 2, build resilience through experiencing and recovering from multiple small failures. Number 3, create systems for continuous learning and feedback. Number 4, establish a values-based decision-making framework. Number 5, become someone others seek out for wisdom, not just success. Ryan Holiday said the ego we see most clearly is our own. In the mirror. That's the only one we can really do anything about. You can't change the world, but you can manage your own ego. And when you manage your ego effectively, you automatically create positive impact around you. Remember these principles. Stay hungry, but stay humble. Be confident, but stay curious. Aim high, but stay grounded. Work hard, but stay kind. Succeed big, but stay small in your own estimation. Here's my final challenge. Comment below and honestly share. Do you struggle with ego or not? Share your experience without judgment. This is about learning and growing together. If this video was helpful, please like it. Don't forget to subscribe for more life-changing content. But most importantly, implement this knowledge in your life, because knowledge without action is just entertainment. Action combined with wisdom creates transformation. Thank you for spending these 2 hours with me. Now go begin the journey of becoming a better version of yourself. Ego is the enemy, but wisdom is your greatest ally. Choose wisely and choose daily. The battle against ego never ends, but with awareness and practice, you can win more battles than you lose, and that makes all the difference.